and only DNVR. Two goes out to Zac, Mase, Arcade, and the bar. Three for Mr. B in that old trophy case. Number four we're still waiting for, well, bring on the chase. Out on the field at Mile High, Broncos win is our desire. Coupled with a break, brew and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
Welcome into the DNVR Broncos podcast on this terrific Thursday. I'm your host, Zach Stevens, joined by my man, Andrew Mason. Before we hop into the show, got to tell you about our presenting sponsor, MSU Denver Online. You guys know the deal. Over at MSU Denver Online, you get the best education while continuing to live your life. Whether you want to keep working and also get an education, get a degree, take one class, you can do all of that over at MSU Denver Online. And right now, they're offering everyone a free application fee. If you use the code DNVR Sports, they will waive that application fee. So check them out, whether you want to take one class or get a degree over at MSU Denver Online. My boy, Mase, how's it going, my friend?
It's going all right. It's another beautiful day in Colorado, beautiful winter day that feels a lot like late fall again, like we've been having. It's been a good day, although I have to say that the Pat Shurmur press conferences lately, let's just say he doesn't give the air of somebody who wants to be there on a weekly basis.
Well, that's for sure.
Who wants to answer questions. Well, he was asked a question by Jeff Legwold, a highly respected reporter, been covering this game. Frankly, no offense, Zach, he's been covering football longer than you've been alive.
There's no offense to that.
Right. He goes back to the 80s. So he asked Pat Shurmur a question about what kind of, hey, you kind of, there's a little bit, he didn't say contemptuous, but Shurmur kind of dismisses number cruncher. So, but Legwold asked him, hey, what stats do you kind of pay attention to, Pat? I mean, are there stats that matter? Is there data that matters? And the response was, well, Kale, we got it ready? Yeah. There.
Just points and wins. Yeah, the important thing is to win, and then certainly when you score points, because we're all charged with scoring points. We had 9 drives the other day. We scored on 6 of them. I think that's pretty good for the numbers, guys. And I think that's what you want to do is score points and ultimately score one more than your opponent, which is a win. The rest of it helps tell the story maybe a little bit, but those. Are there any in there that you? Well, all the efficiency ones are important. You can. There's a long list of them, right? I mean, we scored in 2 minutes before the half, right? We ended the game with the ball and got a score, right? The one that we didn't do so well, we had a series backed up there where we went a 3 and out. We can't do that. But third downs were good, 5 for 5 in the red zone. I mean, all that tells the story, but ultimately you want to score one more point than your opponent. That's important, at least, and then win the game. Those are the important pieces.
Thank you for the insight there, Pat.
Yeah, you got to score more. I mean, what, does he think we're a bunch of morons?
Yes, of course he does.
Yes, he does.
Every NFL coach thinks we're a bunch of morons. And Mase, this upset you so much. You talked about it on Twitter. You want to talk about it today, Mase? Just let it be. Don't let it bother you. See, when I heard that, I, of course, roll my eyes and say, wow, he thinks we are so stupid. And then you know what? I move on with my day. I forget about it because he does think we're very stupid. Don't let this eat at you, Mase.
I can't help it. I mean, I think, look, the funny thing is I've had a couple of nice conversations off the record with Pat Shurmur, just kind of waiting for press conferences.
Well, then maybe he thinks you're smart. He has respect for you, but the general media.
I think he's a decent guy, but oh my gosh, I mean, just sometimes the utter condescension in that response. And the other thing is, and I was thinking this from baseball terms as well, that sort of response makes me think that if Pat Shurmur likes baseball, he probably places a huge value on the picture win stat. Oh, you got to get the guy to 5 innings so he can get the win. Who cares?
Yeah, I definitely think Pat Shurmur's a big quarterback wins guy, and hey, I gotta say I'm right there with him.
Oh, wait, what?
Of course, quarterback wins. But
there's
the thing.
Yeah. See, there are so many other things that go into it. I mean, if quarterback win, I mean, Deshaun Watson can have a great season, and then the Texans don't win, but there are a lot of other things going wrong.
Well, how important is quarterback wins for that team right now?
Yeah.
They wish they had Deshaun Watson's quarterback win stat.
That's you got me there. You know who's good on quarterback wins right now?
Who?
Your guy Mac Jones.
McCorkle. Yeah, he's good on quarterback wins because he's good. That's why. I mean, I can't believe, Mace, did you just throw some shade at Mac Jones?
I mean,
because I can't
Can
believe.
we agree that if you win a game by throwing the ball 3 times, that the quarterback, to use RK's comparison, isn't even the plane, isn't even the pilot, is actually the passenger?
I mean, for that game.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is Josh Allen was actually a negative in that game. So Mac Jones didn't do anything; he was neutral. Josh Allen was a negative in that game for the Buffalo Bills. So yeah, Mac Jones was the better quarterback in that game.
They actually asked something of Josh Allen in the conditions, but I digress.
Yep. And it was a mistake. Yeah, the New England Patriots played it way better. Man, I cannot wait for Mac Jones just to continue to prove people wrong. I've heard so much Mac Jones hate this week, and I'm like, where is this coming from?
Well, I think it's just that he did land in the perfect situation. And look, environment matters, culture matters.
And you don't apologize for that. And you know what? If there's a good player out there and he can be extremely good, especially at the quarterback position, you make your environment fit him. So I don't like that excuse for Mac. People are just like, even after the draft, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I knew he was going to be good when he went to it. No, they didn't. They didn't.
Well, no, but you knew that when the Patriots picked him, they did so based on better intel than anybody else, to their credit.
Of course. That's why I said if the Patriots like him, you take him.
That was the signal.
Yep.
If anybody else had taken him, I don't think he'd be having the success. But
my goodness, just continue to discount him.
The same success? Do you think if Mac Jones were in Chicago, he'd be as successful as he is in New England?
Yeah, sure. I think he'd be successful.
Really?
I think he'd be very successful.
As successful right now as he is in New England?
As successful, maybe not, but I think he'd be successful. He's a damn good football. I don't know what we have to do. What does he have to do to prove that he's a good football player? Well, you know what, Mace? Actually, maybe he can do something, and we're going to talk about that later.
There's a big
in this
game
podcast.
on Saturday.
There is a big
on
game
the road
on Saturday
against a team with a quarterback who's actually playing pretty well, and a team that has right now maybe the best offensive player in the game at this moment. Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, your
at
guy, Jonathan
my
Taylor.
Guy JT.
My guy, Mac Jones, going up against each other. And
I'm
Mace,
a Jonathan Taylor stan, Kale. I'm sorry.
And Mace, we're doing a little something different with this show. We're really going to dive into the Broncos playoffs, what our picks are for the Broncos-Bengals game, and then we're going to look at every single other game that has Broncos playoff implications and give our picks for that as well. But of course, Mace, as we know, this game isn't a mathematical must-win for the Broncos on Sunday, but for all real purposes, it is a must-win for the Broncos. The Broncos, if they lose this, they have a 5% chance at the playoffs. If the Broncos win, they're creeping closer to 50%, and I put all these numbers out on a piece over at thednvr.com just earlier this afternoon that shows you exactly all the numbers, who you should be cheering for. We're going to have a graphic on that later this week as well, and Mace and I are going to dive into it now. But Mace, the Broncos need to win this game.
Yes.
What's it come down to?
Well, it's going to, I think part of it is going to come down to controlling the pace of the game. They're going to, it's a little bit of a boring formula, yes, but they're going to want to gash the Bengals on the ground. And also, they're going, between the Bengals not being able to be a very good comeback team, at least in completing the comeback, they got close. They tied the 49ers, but they couldn't push it over the top. So the Bengals aren't a great team at finishing a comeback. The Broncos are not a great team at coming back, but they're pretty good working from ahead. So you want to control the pace on the ground. You want to make sure that you're playing at least on even terms, if not a little bit ahead throughout. Don't force yourself into a comeback situation. It's basically the formula that we have seen work to this point for the Broncos all year.
Yeah, and that formula, as simple as it is the Broncos need to run the ball. And they need to stick with the run. And if they get down 14 early, they need to stick with the run. And if they get up 14 early, they need to stick with the run. And then, of course, Teddy Bridgewater is the name everyone wants to talk about. He just needs to be efficient. And Mase, we broke it down with the numbers yesterday. He needs to have a passer rating of 100, or if you want to get exact, like above a 97, I believe is what you said yesterday.
His season average is 96.5.
Yep.
So literally when he's above his average, the Broncos win. When he's below, the Broncos lose.
He can't turn the ball over. But he does not need to throw 250, 300 yards. The formula that we saw against the Chargers, the formula that we saw against the Lions, the formula that the Broncos tried to do against the Chiefs, they need to do that again. The biggest difference in those 2 wins against the Chargers and the Lions and their 1 loss against Kansas City was Teddy Bridgewater turned the ball over.
Right.
He was not efficient. He made a couple of very bad decisions, and that hurt the Broncos, and that was probably the difference in the game. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't get those. The Broncos obviously convert on a 4th and 2. That wasn't just Teddy's fault. That can be Pat Shurmur and some of the rest of the offense. The Broncos probably win that game.
Yeah.
So that was against a Kansas City Chiefs team, Mase, that in my opinion is way better than the Cincinnati Bengals team. And people say, well, now you're playing a better team than the Lions. You can't do that same thing. Heck yes, you can. Just don't make those crucial mistakes.
Right. You've beaten one excellent team in the Cowboys. You've beaten a very good team in the Chargers. And like you mentioned, if that 4th and 2 you convert there at the end of the second quarter, either maybe you don't win, but it goes down to the wire. At the worst case scenario, I think, Zach, if they'd gotten that 4th and 2 against Kansas City, is that it would have been that loss where you're like, oh man, this stings, but you don't feel really bad about it.
Right.
Like you went to Arrowhead, you went toe-to-toe with them right after beating the Chargers, you're legit.
Yep.
So, there isn't a team on the rest of the Broncos' schedule they can't beat if they do what they need to do.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, they held it with the Chiefs.
Right. I mean, we're pointing to the one play and saying, oh, if not for 4th and 2, it could have gone differently. Because the game, that's why the Chiefs game, and I opened bashing Pat Shurmur and his comment. Pat Shurmur's game plan against Kansas City was actually incredibly sound.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
Pat Shurmur's game plan against the Chiefs was incredibly sound.
Yeah. And
until the 4th and 2, it was working exactly as they wanted it to.
They were. It was. It absolutely was.
So we may rip on Shurmur, but I think we should give him credit when it is warranted. That was a good game plan. The Cowboys' game plan, was an exquisite game plan, helped out by Dallas feeling like they could just throw their jock straps out there on the field at AT&T Stadium and win.
Yeah, and
So
admitting it a
everything.
couple of weeks after.
Yes, exactly. But that's what happens when a middle-tier team plays well and a very good team doesn't have everything going for it and doesn't have the effort. The Broncos are good. The Broncos weren't good enough to exploit that in previous years, but they're good enough to exploit that now. So if you get bad Bengals on Sunday, the Broncos should be good enough to exploit that and win comfortably.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going up against good Bengals. You should still be able to run your formula.
Yes.
And Mase, ideally, you want to be a good enough team where you can be the New England Patriots and throw the ball 3 times and run 40, 50, 60 times if that's what the game plan allows. You also want to be the Patriots where, with Tom Brady, they would drop back like 60 times in a game and run it 5 times. And they're going to do that with Mac at some point too. You want to be able to hit the other team's weaknesses, but you know what? The Denver Broncos are not that good of a team right now.
Right.
And they have a strength that is extremely strong. They have to stick with that this week. And so there was a lot of talk, especially earlier in this week, from outside of of our conversations, that was, you're going to have to throw the ball. You're going to have to throw the ball. No, you're just simply not. Stick with your strength. And Mason, since you brought up a quote when you were talking, it reminded me of another quote that we heard this week. What did you think of Vic Fangio yesterday saying, just win, baby?
Sometimes I think Vic says things and he doesn't realize how they're going to be perceived because Vic has tunnel vision. Sometimes it's an attribute because it means that you can tune out all the noise, all the distraction, and focus on the task in front of you.
And when you say that, when Vic says every single week and everyone rolls their eyes, we're just looking to go 1-0 this week, he actually means that.
He really does.
Yeah.
Vic is very much about the task in front of him, what's right there. But because of that, he's so locked in that he says just win, baby, and it's just innocent, okay? It's a cliche around football. I mean, if I weren't in Broncos country, I might use that phrase as just an allusion to Al Davis, kind of a lark, and nothing harmful or anything like that. But because he's got that tunnel vision, he doesn't understand that for a lot of Broncos fans, you might as well have just urinated on something holy at that point when you're citing Al Davis like that. I was trying to think of, there's probably a better analogy, and that's why I'm a writer more than a talker. I'm sure if I sat down, I could think of a perfect analogy to describe that.
No, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for bolstering my ego there. But I think that it's an innocent mistake. He doesn't realize what it means. But I understand. Look, if you're a Bronco fan, the hated Raiders, the last thing you can do is use a quote from Al Davis. Anything for anything other than ironic purposes.
Right, exactly.
And he meant it earnestly. Just win, baby.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
I did too, but when he said it, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I got what he was saying.
Yeah.
And he had that. Sometimes Vic has a little twinkle in his eye, and he had the twinkle in his eye when he said it.
He did.
Yeah.
He meant it. So, Mase, my question to you is, will the Denver Broncos just win this week, baby?
Yes.
Hey!
They're going to win. Good teams win, great teams cover. I'm not saying the Broncos are a great team.
Well, are they covering? Right now over at DraftKings Sportsbook, the spread is Broncos are favored. Yes, favored by 2.5 points.
It's going to be a tight one. They're going to win this. They are going to win this game 21-17.
Woo! So a win and cover. You heard it here, folks. The Broncos are a great team because they're winning and they're covering against a team that is ahead of them in the playoff race right now by one game, or not by one game, by one seed. Right now, the Bengals are 9, Broncos are 10. So obviously, after this win, the Broncos will be ahead of the Bengals.
And both teams also started well to some degree. Broncos 3-0, Bengals were 5-2 at one point. Neither team has particularly consistent fortune right now. But one thing that I do expect, and I say one reason I say 21 points is I believe the Broncos will maintain their red zone momentum. The 21 points, I think, will involve a perfect 3 of 3 in the red zone.
There we go. No field goals.
They will maximize their chances. Brandon McManus is not going to be special teams player of the week based on what I'm predicting here. Sorry, B-Mac. By the way, like, he joked about getting the award when he had only one field goal and a bunch of extra points. There were other guys who had multiple field goals.
I agree with Brandon. When yesterday he was like, there had to be someone else to win this award. And I was like, I think so too,
when the news came down yesterday, I'm like, what?
I had to go back to the box score and say, what did I miss?
Yeah.
I didn't miss anything.
No, okay.
But it's one of those
things.
Good
for B-Mac. Good for B-Mac.
You can't criticize, my brother, but I can criticize my brother.
Right.
It's like once he says that he shouldn't have got the award, I'm like, okay, you're right. You shouldn't have got the award, but I didn't want to say it first.
Right. But he's so self-aware that he probably got the news and is like, what? His first reaction is probably something along the lines of, wow, really? What did I do?
Right, exactly. So, Mase, you have confidence in the Broncos, and I have bad news. I have Ryan's score right here. He has confidence in the Broncos, 23-17. So you guys are so close in your score prediction. And the bad news is we all have confidence in the Broncos.
No.
I've got the Broncos winning 24-20 in this game. Mase, they clear the magic number of 21, just like they do with you. And, of course, the Bengals just don't win when they allow their opponents to score 21 or more points. I believe they have one victory on the season when their opponents have scored over 21 points. And so that's all the magic number is. That's all Pat Shurmur has to do. Pat Shurmur does not have to be amazing. He just needs one more point than his opponent. And according to all three of us, he's going to get way more than 1 point than his opponent.
Hey, not just one, but 4.
Yes, exactly. A whopping 4. In fact, 1.5 more than the spread.
There's an old, there from the 1990s, there was a soccer cheer song for the England national team called Vindaloo, and part of the chorus is, We're gonna score one more than you.
Wow, that's a great one. Very clever.
Not about getting 2 or 3. England's not gonna win 3-0. No, it's gonna be 2-1. We're just gonna 1-0. We're just gonna eke this thing out.
What team is that?
That was the England national soccer team.
I wonder if Pat Shurmur's a big fan of the England national soccer team.
Doubt it. Doubt it.
Maybe just for you, he'll come and he will sing that song next week at the press conference.
Well, maybe. Or maybe I'll sing it. Maybe they'll win by 1 point.
Maybe they
will.
And
then maybe I'll say, hey, and then I'll open the press conference. Hey. You scored one more than the Bengals, Pat.
Man, that would be
Let's
great.
see what happens.
I just wish we didn't have so much confidence around the Broncos, but I'm not going to change my score. I think they're going to win. You shouldn't change your score. And, of course, Ryan isn't going to change his score. Man, we all view it as a very similar game. And, Mase, I don't view this as a bad offensive game for the Broncos, 24 points. I view it as the Broncos are just going to grind the clock down. And remember the Bengals. Yes, they have Joe Burrow, but they've got Joe Mixon too. And they handed off to him more than anyone in the entire NFL outside of your Jonathan Taylor-led Colts. So he's going to get the ball often. Mase, this game might be done at 3:55 on Sunday because they may just be handing the ball off. But, hey, if the Broncos win, it is going to be huge for them.
It is. And I think it'll be huge for the fan base as well. Because you do, I don't know if you sense it, I sense it among some cores of Broncos country, there is a reluctance to embrace this team and embrace its chances. And I get it. The last 5 years have been rough. This team has been inconsistent. But beat the Bengals at home. You're 8-6. You have 3 division games left. I think you win this game. Broncos country is finally going to allow itself to believe that this might end with a pot of gold of making the playoffs.
I absolutely love it. And Mase, so I want to know if the Broncos will be in the playoffs after this weekend. But first, I got to tell you something that is very important. It is a PSA. It is a pubic service announcement from our friends over at Manscaped.
On the show?
I did. And it's because it's important. We can't miss out on this because our friends over at Manscaped want to make your Christmas and the loved ones around you that much better. And our friends over at Manscaped are giving you 20% off by using the code DNVR over at manscaped.com this holiday season. Use the code DNVR at manscaped.com. You'll get 20% off and free shipping. And might I recommend the Lawnmower 4.0. Nothing's going to ride better on your body than the Lawnmower 4.0. Glide without any clips on your body because it's got advanced skin-safe technology. It has waterproof feature. It has wireless charging. It has a light that you can turn on and off, and that is their premium product. But Mase, they have so many other things. As you see right here, we are displaying 2 beautiful gifts in the shower that you can take, clean yourself off, and of course, they've got the Weed Whacker. They have everything. So make sure to check them out over at manscaped.com. Smash that code DNVR for 20% off and free shipping.
Well, that's a great gift, no doubt. What else is a great gift? I'm going to pull it up here. A gift box. It's a DNVR gift box. Now, it's probably not going to look like this, right?
I think it does.
Oh, yeah. It does with the Christmas.
Absolutely.
It looks exactly like
Absolutely. Yeah,
so
we
send
it in a gift box.
You don't even have to wrap this,
yes,
okay?
Exactly. You just throw it under the tree.
Yeah, so anyway, it's the DNVR gift box. And if you want to give the gift of DNVR to the Colorado sports fan in your life, there's really nothing better because you open this box and someone who opens this, first of all, they're going to get this. It may look like a certificate. What it is it's annual membership. It says, welcome to the family. You sign up for your annual subscription, and it's got the code below. So the Broncos or Colorado sports fan in your life will get a DNVR subscription. Maybe you know somebody who listens to the podcast, loves them, but they haven't made the leap to subscribe. This is a great gift for them. You're also going to get 2 T-shirts. Here we've got Mile High Die Hard, Mile High Till I Die. You've also got the Teddy Bridgewater, the Teddy Two Gloves shirt. If you want to go marching into maybe a playoff run for the Broncos, then that's a shirt that you can put in. So 2 shirts, the certificate, to join the DNVR family for the person that you buy this for. Oh, by the way, you get something as well if you give that DNVR gift box like I've got right here. You get a $15 discount at the DNVR Locker. So what could be better? You give a friend the gift of the best coverage of Colorado sports, and you get a $15 credit for yourself over at the DNVR Locker. So basically what? Half price off a shirt, 40% off of a hoodie, something, or a hat that you want. You get something by giving your friends something. So make sure you give the gift of DNVR. Go to DNVRlocker.com, DNVRlocker.com, and get the DNVR gift box for $59.88 right there. And of course, you're going to give the gift of DNVR to someone that you know, and you get a little something for yourself with that $15 gift card to the DNVR Locker. So check it all out at DNVRlocker.com.
And Mase, Christmas is only 9 days away, but
my
it's not
God.
too late to order one of those gift boxes. If you order by Monday the 20th, you will get it in time for Christmas. And if you order general merchandise from the DNVR Locker, you will get, if you order by the 22nd, you'll get it in time. And of course, if you want to come down to the bar, we will have in-bar purchases up to the 23rd. We're closed on the 24th, but that means, Mase, you have a week to come by and not only grab merchandise for gifts for yourself or for others, you can also come down and get some Breck beers. And of course, Breck Beer, the official sponsor of DNVR. We love Breck Beer. I'm looking at the Christmas Ale keg here. That's what I recommend for this weekend. Whether you're staying at home, watching some football, whether you're going and seeing some friends, bring over a mini keg of Christmas Ale. Nothing will say Christmas and get you in the mood like the Christmas Ale. It tastes so good, and also it is like a little tree with beer in it. What gets better than that? Nothing. Make sure to check out all the Breck Beer. Find their Breck Beer locator to see where the beer is closest to you. All right, Mase, let's hop in to our AFC West predictions and travel around the AFC West, because every single game from here on out in the AFC West is probably going to be important. What I can guarantee you is every single game in the AFC this week is important. And first, let's get to our standings, because Mase, I think you'll like. Whoa, what noise did you just make?
Oh, I'm winning.
Yeah.
this one.
That was a rough sound.
I was
You
thinking
are
about the
winning this
weekly
one.
pick standings.
Yes, on Pick'em,
Yeah.
fortunes
Well,
aren't as favored for
I don't
you.
like prop bets. Like literally, I'm flipping a coin on the prop bets.
Whoa, you're not trying to help the people out?
I don't want people taking my advice on prop bets.
Oh, but you're an expert, Mase.
Not on prop bets, I'm not.
Oh, well, on the Broncos, here, you seem to be the expert. 23-18, you're in first. Ryan and I are tied for second at 21-20. The good news is we're all above 500. We're all breaking even with a little extra.
That was a long time coming.
And we have a lot of picks today. And so let's get into these. And let's start, Mase, with the AFC West. And if you're going to bet on these, you're going to have to tune into our Broncos Pick'em, because that's where we give our picks against the spread. Here, we're just picking straight up. Probably why we all have such good, over 500 records on this is because we're not picking against the spread. And let's dive in, Mase, to a very important game tonight. The Chiefs going into Los Angeles to play the Chargers, where the Chargers are 1-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs this season. Who do you have in this game for first place in the AFC West?
Well, kind of the big news came when we saw a couple of days ago Chris Jones landing on the COVID-19 list for the Chiefs. And look, that's transformative for their defense, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Because what's worked for them is they got Melvin Ingram on the edge, and that allowed Chris Jones to work on the inside, which is what he's done best. And that was the moment where the Chiefs' defense went from very pedestrian early to downright dominant in the last several weeks. So you're taking Chris Jones out from the interior. It's going to be much more difficult for the Chiefs to generate a pass rush on Justin Herbert. You know, before the news broke, I thought the Chiefs were going to win this game.
Oh.
Without Chris Jones, I think the Chargers win.
Oh, I love it, Mase. And so,
even though it's not good for the Broncos.
I was going to say, in terms of the playoff implications, not good for the Broncos' playoff implications, because then the Chiefs and the Chargers would be a game and a half above the Broncos entering Sunday's game. But I guess it's good if you think that the Broncos can win the division, and maybe you want the Broncos to have a first seed in the AFC, then that is good because it keeps the Chiefs from pulling away from you. But yes, I personally, and I think you are too, and I know Ryan is, we're all still focused on just the Broncos getting to the playoffs, and that's the number one goal. So we would all wish that the Chiefs would beat them.
But here's the interesting thing. If you want to dream big, are we going to dream big around here?
Absolutely. We're big dreamers.
All right. If you want to dream big, then if the Chiefs lose tonight and the Broncos win out, then the Broncos would finish ahead of the Chiefs on a tiebreaker. Because you could have a scenario, even if like the Broncos and Chiefs are tied head-to-head. Like if Broncos and Chiefs and Chargers are tied head-to-head, then the Broncos would come out ahead on record among all three teams.
Love it.
Because, of course, the Chargers would have beaten the Chiefs twice, but if the Broncos win out, that means they've beaten the Chiefs once, and it means they've beaten the Chargers twice.
Yep, it means the Broncos would have 2 division losses, but that's it.
Right.
They'd be
The one I'm not sure about, and that's why I think I may have misstated here, is if it is common opponents over conference record, and that's where I don't know where things would stand with the Broncos and the Chiefs on common opponents.
Well, Mase,
it came down to that.
I hope we're having that conversation in a couple of weeks. You're dreaming big, and I love it. Ryan and I are trying to dream realistically.
Yeah.
We've got the Chiefs winning tonight, both of us. I love this game for the Chiefs, and the reason there's so many reasons. The first one is, like I said, the Chargers beat them in Kansas City when these teams first played, and I think that kind of opened everyone's eyes this season of, whoa, are the Chargers that good? Are the Chiefs struggling? And obviously, the Chargers were that good at the beginning of the season, and the Chiefs were struggling that hard at the beginning of the season. I think Kansas City is going to be pissed about that. I love that this game is for first place in the AFC West because I think the Chiefs are going to be pissed about that and come out playing. And Mase, Chris Jones is a great point that he's out, but then Rashawn Slater got ruled out, and I thought those two things kind of negated each other. I think Chris Jones is more important than Rashawn Slater, but got that a little closer, and I just think the Chiefs are on fire right now. So I'm going to take the Chiefs, and because we're not putting this game in the pick'em, I even like Chiefs -3, but I love that we're picking different teams there. Okay, Mase, we're going to Saturday. Yes, Saturday football. And
I love this about December, Saturday football.
yes, me too. We even got Christmas Saturday football next week. And Mase, this week, we've got 2 games that both matter to the Broncos. The first one starting at 2:30 in Denver, Raiders at Browns. And boy, this game could potentially have a lot of drama on the field. It certainly has a lot of drama off the field with 14 Browns are on the COVID-19 list, including their head coach and including Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and of course, so we saw firsthand that the Browns can function without Baker Mayfield when they had Case Keenum.
We did find that out firsthand.
But we know that they could function without Baker Mayfield, and Keenum actually might be a bit better than an injured Baker Mayfield, and clearly Baker is still hurt, right?
Yep.
So we know that they can get by with Keenum for a game. But the thing is, you start looking at like all the other players, all the other absences they have, and how it basically decimates their defense, affects their offensive line as well. Is it a point of no return? Is it too much? I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Cleveland. Part of it is you're going against a Raiders team that, aside from that game against Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, since the tragic accident that Henry Ruggs caused, leading to him being cut, this hasn't been the same team. And obviously the focus should be on the tragedy and what Henry Ruggs did. But from a football perspective, the Raiders aren't the same team without him. I got the Browns in this.
Yeah, and I think that's very fair looking at...
I have a Browns cup, by the way.
Yeah, you do. I dig it. A Cleveland Browns cup from Mase today. And that's unfortunately not who the Broncos are going to be cheering for. Broncos are going to be cheering, I think should be at least, cheering for the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game. And you say, wait. But that would give another win to the Raiders. That would make them still in contention in the playoffs. But it would take the Cleveland Browns out or down a notch. And if the Broncos win, then the Broncos would immediately jump ahead of the Browns, who in tiebreakers right now are ahead of the Broncos. And Mase, the Raiders are going downhill so much. I'm not worried about them getting one win here. They're still going to sputter the rest of the season. So I'm going to be cheering for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think you should be too. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Derek Carr is going to will his way to victory. The Las Vegas Raiders are not a good football team. Derek Carr is still a good quarterback, and I think that he says, no. I'm not letting Case Keenum beat me this weekend. I am going to beat him. I totally see why you're going Browns, but give me the Raiders, and man, I could look like an absolute fool giving any confidence in the Raiders, especially what happened last week against Kansas City, and Ryan is going with the Raiders as well. So, Mace, we could be able to catch you this week, but we have even more games.
Or I could pick up another game on you with that.
You
We
could
got
pick
even
up
more
multiple games.
Yeah,
yes.
we got even more on Saturday.
Yes, we
because
do.
this give the NFL credit. They actually, this doubleheader they have on Saturday, 2 very relevant games in the playoff race and very relevant for the Broncos as well. So, get the popcorn, get some holiday cookies, have some eggnog, sit back. You're going to want to watch this doubleheader on Saturday.
Yes, you will. And let's dive into that doubleheader because it also has playoff implications for the Broncos. The 9-4 Patriots are traveling into Indianapolis. Boy, this used to be a game where it was Peyton Manning hosting Tom Brady. Now it's Carson Wentz and Jonathan Taylor hosting the greatest rookie quarterback the land has ever seen, Mac Jones. Mace,
are you doing that to troll me on this?
I'm doing it to
the
troll.
Greatest quarterback.
I'm doing it to troll every single person out there except for me. Mace, who do you have? I know who you have. I could just write it down right now.
Colts?
In fact, I already wrote it down. Yeah,
You wrote down the Colts?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah. The Colts are basically they've come close in these types of games all year. At some point, I think they're going to get over the top. I mean, they should have beaten the Bucs. They had that game in their hands, right? I think they're going to have just enough to win this game. It's going to be at home, and I do think Jonathan Taylor will be the best player on the field. Will make the difference for the Colts. Will allow the Colts to control the pace of this game. The thing that you worry about with the Colts, of course, is if the game gets into Carson Wentz's hands. Carson Wentz has been fine in the big picture aggregate, but you look at late at that game against the Titans that they had at home, and Carson Wentz lost it for them. So the Colts need to keep this game in the hands of their A-list player. They've got to keep the game in the hands of Jonathan Taylor. If they do that, they're going to win.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor is the key for the Colts. I mean, there's a reason he's the leading rusher in the NFL. He has the most touches of any running back in the NFL. It's also because he's an absolute beast. Ryan is with you, Mace. Ryan is going the Colts here. This is going to be a fantastic game that Mac Jones wins. The Patriots are going to win this game, and Broncos fans should be right with me. They should be pulling for Mac this week because, look, the Patriots have their division wrapped up right now.
Yeah.
Or not the division wrapped up, but they have a playoff spot. They are going to make the playoffs, and they are ahead of their division. In fact, they're tied with the Chiefs and the Titans for first place in the AFC. You want them to win this game and then lose out the rest of the way, but you want them to beat the Colts because the Colts are one of those teams with the Broncos sitting at 7-6. You want them to fall to 7-7. If the Broncos win, the Broncos jump the Colts, and then Mace, if the Raiders win and the Pats win on Thursday or on Saturday, the Broncos will jump 2 playoff spots just by that if they win on Sunday.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting to look at what the Colts have left as well, because they've got a very tough game after this against the Arizona Cardinals. Then they close with Las Vegas at home, and they're at the Jaguars. So that Jaguar game, by the way, is now more interesting than it was 24 hours ago.
Yeah, yes it is. Bye-bye, Urban.
Right. Would it surprise anybody if the Jaguars play really well down this direction? Maybe become a spoiler here in the next 4 weeks. Now that Urban Meyer's gone.
Yeah.
So before with Urban Meyer coaching, that Colts Jaguars game, free space on the board. I think the Colts win.
Yeah.
Now it's not as certain. So that also can help the Broncos. The other reason why the Broncos need the Colts to lose this game is if you're starting to think about tiebreakers. For the Broncos and Colts, if they got into a tiebreaker, you'd be talking about conference record. Right now, the Colts are 6-3 in the AFC, and the Broncos are 3-5.
Yeah, and so a big one there. Mase, there's also some big games on Sunday as well. This is such an action-packed weekend for the Broncos. The 9-4 Titans hosting the 6-1 Steelers. Of course, the Broncos here want the Titans to win because just like the Patriots, the Titans are significantly ahead of the Broncos. Broncos aren't competing against the Titans. The Titans own their division right now, but they are competing against the 6-1 Steelers. In fact, a loss on Sunday could realistically, not mathematically, eliminate the Steelers from the playoff chase. Who do you have? It's in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh, and of course, Pittsburgh beat Baltimore at home a couple of weeks back, and then, I would actually have picked the Titans if Pittsburgh had not come back against the Vikings. The fact that the Steelers did, that it wasn't in time for the win, but they woke up and really had, and if they'd forced overtime, I think they would have won that game.
Yep, I think so too.
The Steelers are another little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team. They did have the tie against the Lions at home, so it hasn't been all smiles and sunshine at Heinz Field, but beating Baltimore at home a couple weeks back, I think, says a lot. It's one of those games where it's not really something you think about analytically. It's about tough environment, Western PA, December, the yellow towels twirling, Renegade playing. I can't pick against the Steelers in this game, in that environment.
Yeah,
it's the kind of game Pittsburgh usually wins.
Yeah, and the Titans don't have Derrick Henry, and that's what their team is completely built around. Unless they're playing a trash team, they're going to lose. And the Steelers, boy, have they looked like a trash team at times, but they're going to be at least just enough. So we all have the Steelers to win this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you think also, even though he won't confirm it, there's the general idea that this is Big Ben's last go-around. You think that maybe adds a little bit of, as Vic Fangio might say, oomph to the Steelers, because I think it does. I think it does, and it has.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we got the 3-10 Jets going into Miami, the 6-7 Dolphins. While they have the worst record of teams that are, quote, still in the hunt, they're the hottest. They're on a 5-game win streak right now. Mace, I think this one is pretty easy, who we all expect to win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Miami, and don't even be surprised if Miami takes this 5-game winning streak to 7. They play New Orleans. It's in the Superdome right after that, but Miami's got momentum. Now, one interesting thing about this Miami winning streak to date is that they've won 5 in a row, 4 at home. So it's a nice little stretch of 5 home games in 6 that's allowed them to get their feet back under them. And also you can say, well, most of the teams they've beaten are bad. But they beat Baltimore in the middle of this as well.
And destroyed them, too, yeah.
Right.
They made them look really... I know Baltimore came back in that game, but they dominated that game.
Right. I mean, you look at Miami and you think, boy, if they hadn't wet the bed against Atlanta at home, Miami we would talk about Miami being in great playoff shape.
Yep.
So they used up their margin for error early, but I don't think the Miami Dolphins are going away. And right, by the way, if they win this game Sunday, Zach, Miami will be 5-5 in the AFC. Whereas the Broncos, if they win Sunday, they'd be 4-5 in the AFC. Conference record's probably going to play a role in this tiebreaker at some point.
Yep, it certainly will. So, Mace, I also think the Dolphins are going to win. Ryan also thinks the Dolphins are going to win. Obviously, It'd be great if the Jets beat them because the Jets are hopeless and harmless to the Broncos. But none of us think that's going to happen. The next game, 5-8 Panthers going into Buffalo to play the very struggling 7-6 Bills. Who you got?
I got Buffalo. Now, this is a fascinating game because Buffalo's brain trust comes from Carolina, so it's sort of the little bit of the reunion for Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, their GM, with the place that kind of launched them to their jobs in Buffalo. But Buffalo, yeah, their form recently hasn't been great in terms of the win-loss form. And they did get blown out by the Colts back in mid-November. But their last 2 losses, the wind loss to the Patriots, and then, of course, losing the Bucs, where they should have won. That was, I will admit, as a Bucs enthusiast, they stole one thanks to the officials.
Wow.
And what they didn't call. I will admit that. The Bucs are totally getting the benefit of the doubt of some calls this year, especially in regards to pass interference either way.
Unfortunately, when you're good, you get those calls. So you're taking the Bills as well?
I'm taking the Bills, and if you look at how the Bills close, they have the Patriots right after that in New England, and I think that's going to end up being a coin flip game. But then they have Atlanta and the Jets to close things out. Buffalo is going to be in the postseason.
Oh, don't say that, Mason. Of course, everyone wants the 5-8 Panthers NFC team that mean nothing to beat the Bills. Ryan and I also have the Bills winning this game. Man, they are struggling. It's going to be interesting to see what our picks are next week with Buffalo. And
Carolina's almost as chaotic, or probably more chaotic than Buffalo right now. I mean,
without a doubt, they don't even know who their quarterback is.
Matt Rule is throwing Cam Newton under the bus. And
yeah, it's an absolute
mess
there.
in Carolina right now.
It is a mess. And May's final game for the Broncos to have intrigue about is the 10-3 Packers going into Baltimore to play the 8-5 Ravens. Who you got?
Well, you might have Baltimore without Lamar Jackson.
Yep. They were okay without Lamar last week, though.
They were, but you're giving a very good team in Green Bay a week to prepare for the possibility of not seeing Lamar Jackson. And I think that is the key thing here when you look at this. There's not going to be the same element of surprise when if you don't see Lamar Jackson, if you do see Tyler Huntley out there. So I think the Packers get it done. And the Packers are speeding toward number 1 seed right now.
Yeah, they are a number 1 seed to host an NFC championship game to lose at home, just like they always do.
Yeah, you know what? There was a time when Green Bay was unbeatable at Lambeau Field, and then about midway through the Brett Favre era, I believe it was the Falcons went in with Michael Vick and trounced them. And ever since then, the Packers at mighty, historic, intimidating Lambeau Field have been pedestrian in the playoffs at home.
Yeah. Not a surprise to me. I call it every year.
What I'm pointing out is it's not just an Aaron Rodgers thing. This thing,
I don't think it. What did they say? It's
0-2 against the Falcons, 0-4 against the Vikings, 0-7 against the Giants in the NFC Championship game. This started happening on Brett Favre's watch. Aaron Rodgers just hasn't reversed this unusual trend of the Packers being mortal and beatable up there in northeast Wisconsin in January.
Mace, it's, as they say, it's the Jimmies and Joes, not the stadiums and fans, as the famous saying goes.
That's a famous saying?
Yeah, now it is. I've got the Packers. Ryan's got the Packers. We've all got the Packers. Is that your official pick, Mace?
The Pack.
Yeah, and fortunately, that's what we hope. It brings the Ravens down a little bit. Now the Broncos, even if they still win, if the Broncos win, they will be tied with the Ravens.
But they lose the tiebreaker on head-to-head.
But they're getting there. In terms of record, the Broncos are tied there.
And let's look at who Baltimore has after this game as well, because that's also key. At Cincinnati, so someone's got to win, but somebody's got to lose. And then the Ravens close with the Rams at home.
Love it.
And Matthew Stafford now has a big win in his back pocket that he didn't have before. And
finally.
And then the Ravens close with the Steelers at home. So we're seeing still a lot of AFC North action to play, which means, yes, somebody's going to win, but somebody's going to lose too.
Yeah, and we like that. We like when teams that are in the contention with the Broncos lose, and we like getting action on all of these games. I mean, we're already going to have a rooting interest in these games, but if you want to put your heart in it even more, check out our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And Mace, we're going to have our Broncos Pick'em where we pick against the spread. We're going to have that drop tomorrow or Saturday where you can find out exactly what we would do against the spread. If you want to get your picks in on DraftKings Sportsbook, you can do that by downloading the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and using the code DNVR to get this great offer. They're offering, if you bet $1 on any NFL game and a point is scored in that game, you get $100 in free bets if you're a new user. That is a perfect way to start your account. Man, and you better get in tonight and then use those free $100 on Saturday, on Sunday. There are so many opportunities to do so this week. I absolutely love December Saturday football, like you were saying, Mace. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get this can't-miss limited-time offer by using that code DNVR over DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Colorado Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You know, back in the 80s, there was occasional Denver Friday night or December Friday night football.
Ooh.
And I said Denver because the Broncos were involved in a Friday night game, 1985, Week 16 at Seattle. You ever see the movie The Last Boy Scout? Probably not. It's a 1991
Yeah,
film.
I did not.
Well, it's a film set in football, and in this alternate universe, there's Friday night football, and so they do a Friday night football song like Hank Williams Jr. would do Monday night. Friday night's a great night for football. Sung much
Apparently
better
it wasn't
than
that great of a night for football.
by Bill Medley,
Okay.
as in Righteous Brothers fame, as in I've had the time of my life. Yeah.
Okay. Had the time of my life. That one clicks.
Yes. Anyway, but yeah. Friday night's a great night for football.
Let's just keep going, Mace. Keep it
so
going.
you say Saturday, I want to see some Friday football. But you know what? There is no Friday night NFL football this week, and there's going to come a time, believe it or not, very soon, when the NFL season is over. What are you going to watch?
Oh, no.
Why don't you check out the American Raptors, who are going to be playing over at Infinity Park? That's your Colorado rugby team. They've rebranded, but this name, the American Raptors, is here to stay. This rugby club is comprised of crossover athletes from other sports. They ended their first season at 5-5, which is pretty great for former athletes coming together for the first time and putting their skills to the test. If you haven't heard of the American Raptors, here's what they are. They are Rugby Town USA's newest rugby team. The American Raptors are athletes who have competed at the highest level of their respective sports. They come from backgrounds in football, basketball, wrestling, soccer, and track, and they possess the necessary athletic skills to excel at the game of rugby. This is part of getting better athletes to rugby and upgrading the performance of the USA Eagles national teams. The hope and the expectation is that these athletes are going to play a big part in that, in improving the fortunes of the USA Eagles. And the best thing about it is you can watch the American Raptors for free. You heard that right, free.
Whoa.
If it's free, it's for me and for you too. Head on over to AmericanRaptors.com and grab your free ticket for the upcoming season. If you can't make the game, AmericanRaptors.com will stream all of them from their website. Check it out. And our guy Colton Strickler has it all covered for you. He has the weekly DNVR Rugby podcast. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow him in our DNVR Rugby accounts to keep up with the latest news. Earlier this fall, the Raptors were down in Montevideo, Uruguay. Colton Strickler was right there, step for step, covering everything with them. You can learn about rugby with those Rugby 101 podcasts that Colton has over at DNVR Rugby. So check out DNVR Rugby on the social media platforms and check out AmericanRaptors.com and get your tickets to watch the next season of American Raptors Rugby for free over at Infinity Park.
And as you're so excited to watch the American Raptors, you got to get a snooze sleep and the mattress of the Snooze Flip mattress so you can be comfortable in that night before checking out a game, because the Snooze Flip mattress by Snooze Sleep is the best mattress out there. It's pretty much a 4-in-1 mattress, and the reason for that is one side is hard, one side is soft. So you get to choose. If you want hard or soft, you can flip it during the seasons. And another thing that you can flip during the seasons is their reversible cover. One side is hot, one side is cold, so you can mix and match hot and hard, cold and soft. You want to flip that around, you can do that with the Snooze Flip mattress. It is the most universal mattress out there. And on top of that, they're a Colorado-based company. You guys know how important it is to support local. We love doing that here over at DNVR. And the thing is, you don't just have to live in Colorado. It is built in Colorado, but built for the world. So check them out over at snoozesleep.com. And if you use the code DNVR, they'll hook you up with $25 or $250 off a queen mattress, $250 off an adjustable base, and $500 off a king, and $500 off a king adjustable base as well. So that's savings of $500 for a queen, $1,000 for a king by using that code DNVR over at snoozesleep.com. Check them out. All right, Mace, let's hop into the comment section. And before we do, let's hit a super chat that we have from our guy, Edward. He says, "What's up, guys? Just wanted to show some love. I'm so ready for Sunday. Keep up the good work, and thanks for everything. Let's go Broncos, DB for life." Thank you so much, Edward. Love you, and I know you left a comment yesterday asking for our score prediction. I'm happy that we could get that to you today, and I hope you like the results. We got a Broncos win coming. Really appreciate the love, Edward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edward. Appreciate that. Love your avatar, by the way. Nice.
Is that... was that KJ Hamler from last year?
Looks, it looks that way.
Looks like a KJ13 from last year. Love that, Edward. All right, Mace, let's hop into the comment section over on the website. And the first one coming in from LA Bronco 30 says, sorry this is long, but I just wanted to share what happened to me the other day. I've been really emotional over DT, so I had to share, but a little backstory. December 2019, my girlfriend, her daughter, and I made care packages to hand out to the less fortunate without homes in our area. I wanted to extend it beyond the holidays, but then COVID hit, and I feared it would spread it around, so we put it on pause. This year, we promised to start again. That leads us to today. I found some paper bags I had from 2019, and I had the thought this year to honor DT by putting 88 on each bag. So I wrote just one to see how it looked. Of course, it was beautiful and made me tear up. So then I head out to the store to buy supplies for care packages, snacks, socks, sandwich materials, etc. As I get to a green light at an intersection, something tells me to look out. I slam on the brakes as a huge SUV comes flying through the red light. He slams his brakes and stops. We are feet away from each other. The T-bone collision would have been into my driver's side door. I proceed to the store unscathed and got my supplies. I got home and saw the 88 I had written earlier waiting for me, and I broke down in tears. Something or someone told me to look out so I could continue to carry out my mission. Every bag I give out will have an 88. I didn't want to share this because I didn't pat myself on the back. None of this will be on social media. No one knows my girlfriend, and I do this except us, the only person that knows is my girlfriend and now DNVR. It's a PSA to watch your green lights. It's a remember to pay it forward this holiday season, and when you can, do it in the memory of a great man like DT. At the Chargers game January 2nd, I'll be wearing my DT shirt for the last time and then retiring it. Really wish I had bought a jersey back in the day because I can't find any now. Merry Christmas, DNVR. Wow, that is a really cool story. Thank you for sharing it, and that is so cool, the work that you're doing to bring joy to people's lives this season.
That is awesome. I really appreciate that, and thank you for sharing that with us. Also, it makes you think about just how kind of close sometimes we come to disaster. Like today, I was going into the right-hand lane on the highway, and this truck just came barreling up, going on. It was one, where you have the on ramp, and I'm moving over into the lane because it goes toward the off ramp, and this truck comes barreling up through the on ramp at like 85 miles an hour. Oh wow! So fast and like nearly hits me, and just.
Wow.
Yeah,
yeah, that's terrifying. I'm glad you're okay.
Well, thank you. But just so much is beyond our control in life. We have to just cherish every moment. You never know.
Yeah.
And you never know how fortunate you can be, how lucky you can be sometimes. So.
Yeah, very well said, and thank you for sharing that, LA Bronco. Vash the Man says, my boys, what is up, y'all? I'm back, baby. First thing first, Zach, hope you show the boys the pic I sent you of my daughter, the newest Broncos fan, looking all cute in her gear. Second, of course, yes, so cute, and I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations, Vash. He says, second, I'm going to send you a vid of my kids singing the DNVR intro. That's it for now. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out. P.S. Keep them pods coming. Make my day all the time. Y'all rock. We love you, Vash the Man.
Love it. Appreciate it. Thank you for checking in with us. Omaha. I have $1,000 bet with my brother over who will win the Offensive Rookie of the Year this year. He has McCorkle, Mac Jones. I've got Jamar Chase. Needless to say, I've had a vested interest in Bengals games this year. One thing that really jumps out at me about this weekend's game is the Broncos must blanket Chase and not allow him to go over the top. When the Bengals hit Jamar for big touchdowns, it opens everything up for them in the underneath passing game. Guys like Boyd and Uzomah feast. But when Chase is held in check, the passing game usually sputters. There are outliers, but this is almost always true for the Bengals this season. I've been thinking a lot about how the Broncos were killed 4 separate times this season by deep ball touchdowns. In the Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, and Eagles games where they allowed deep balls for scores, those plays pretty much sucked the life out of the team. They never recovered. Curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this. You know what? That's something I've been thinking about a lot. And one thing about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is they are on the same page. It goes back to being at LSU. But when Joe Burrow buys time and Chase breaks off his route, and the play kind of goes to kind of schoolyard type of stuff, off script, that is when he can be really dangerous. You've got to sustain your coverage on Jamar Chase for longer than you do against most receivers, because sometimes the most dangerous moment is when Burrow is outside the pocket, he's had 5 or 6 seconds, and Chase is able to shake free of coverage downfield, and Burrow does a great job at finding him. You're going to have to really plaster him the secondary as a collective. Make sure that he doesn't get loose and break open when Burrow is buying time.
Yeah, I gotta say, Omaha, here I'm hurt. Why did you pick against my guy Mac Jones here? And that's going to cost you $1,000 because, unfortunately, a receiver has to be incredibly special to win this award over a quarterback, especially when you got a quarterback playing to the level that Mac is. Jamar Chase is going to need a couple 200-yard games like he already has this season, but he's going to need more of those in order to win this award. You are going to lose $1,000 to your brother, and let's just say my heart's with your brother right now because that... Picking Mac is a good choice there. But you're right. In terms of this Broncos game, that's why we talked about putting Pat Surtain on Jamar Chase. He is their best player, and your best player in the secondary in terms of cover corner is Pat Surtain. I would have him shadow him this game.
You don't think Jamar Chase has been special this year?
No, you have to be really, really, really special for a wide receiver to get it over a quarterback.
I mean, he's second in the league in receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's averaging north of 17 yards a catch.
Yeah, those are all really good. I'm not saying he's a special player.
He's special. I mean, you can argue he's having the best rookie season for a wide receiver since Randy Moss back in 1998.
Wait, so, Mase, are you looking to take a bet? Do you think he's going to win Rookie of the Year over Mac Jones?
Well, I'm not going to make a bet.
Okay, okay.
I'm just saying there's a bet
out of it. Take the bet out of it because you're making an argument of why Jamar Chase should. So are you saying he will?
I'm saying he should. I'm saying
no. I'm saying will he?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
what?
have.
No, you got to put you're making a case for it. You got to put your signature
I'm saying
behind
he
it.
should, but there's a quarterback bias in Rookie of the Year voting.
So who's going to win?
Probably Mac Jones.
Oh my gosh, you give all this pushback and then you say that it's going to be
No,
Mac.
I'm saying that's who people will vote for. I'm saying it should be Jamar Chase.
Well, that's
if we were voting today,
though. I think it's going to be Mac Jones, regardless of who it should.
Who should it be?
It should be Mac Jones.
Okay, that's where we differ. See, that's the thing. That's more interesting. You say it should be McCorkle, who's having a good season, but maybe not an elite season. Jamar Chase is at an elite level as a rookie.
Yeah, but it's going to be Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Omaha. I'm sorry, but I can't believe you didn't listen to me. You went with Jamar.
We'll see.
I'm sorry. Maybe. Hey, if Jamar has a big game against the Broncos, that'll really help his cases. So I think everyone in Broncos country hopes you're wrong on this too.
Yeah.
Next one from Bronc Oilers. Morning, gents. Nothing like a nice warm cup of coffee and DNVR to keep me going on this brutal Edmonton morning. Minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit to be exact.
That's pretty normal for Edmonton in the winter.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
It seems like multiple times over the past few years, this team has lacked offensive identity, only to get a dominant ground game going at some point, and then by the time next season starts, it's all forgotten. Do you guys think our investment at the skills at wide receiver and tight end have caused a reluctance to stick with what's working? Does this make the members of our receiving corps less valuable to us than we may have thought? Cheers.
Well, look, those receivers are going to prove valuable, but it's going to be probably after a quarterback change. You're right now.
You hope they prove valuable. Then.
You hope they prove. I think they will. But Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton, you didn't re-sign them and give them those contracts for status quo. It's an acknowledgement that if the offense is going to get to the next level, it's going to have a dynamic component that it doesn't have today. And that probably comes from a new quarterback walking through the doors at Dove Valley.
Yes, I agree. That's the hope. But I just feel like when we talk about it like that, and it's certainly not you, Mason, that's certainly the reason that they signed both of those guys up. But there's just this kind of expectation, oh yeah, the Broncos are going to get way better quarterback play next year. Whoa, what? The past 5 years, this is the best quarterback play they've had. It's Teddy Bridgewater. He's maximizing, I shouldn't say he's maximizing those guys the most possible, but he is putting up the best passing numbers that this team has seen since 2014, Peyton Manning. So just to think that they're going to get a huge upgrade next year is a little bit naive. It scares me a little bit. Now, Mace, they're going to try. They are going to try their hardest to get Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, but those aren't guarantees. And going into the draft is also no guarantee. Heck, Trevor Lawrence is struggling this year. Now, obviously, I think the Broncos are a much better situation to go to for a quarterback than the Jags, but still, it's Trevor Lawrence that's struggling as a rookie, so it's just not a guarantee. And for this year, I think you're right, Bronco. They're certainly not getting their value of those guys, but they're also not paying those guys, Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, for this year. Those contracts don't kick in until next year.
But hopefully what you're finding is perfect balance where you've got a running game that can beat you and a passing game that can beat you. And
Right.
then look,
that's ideal.
The one of the things that makes the Patriots work, and it's part of Mac Jones being in a perfect situation, is when the Patriots are successful, first with Tom Brady, now we're seeing it with Mac Jones, they are capable of building their game plan around the opponent's weaknesses. If they know the opponent is weak on deep balls, they'll take deep shots. If they know their opponent is weak against the run or the conditions dictate running, like on that night in Buffalo, then they're going to run the ball. If it's the opponent can't cover running backs out of the backfield, then one of their running backs is going to have 10 receptions, right? And if you're the Broncos long term, where do you want this offense to go? To where it can be that chameleon.
Absolutely.
If you face a team that can't run, hey, we're going to run the ball 35 times. You face a team that struggles with a deep ball, hey, we're going to throw 9 balls to Cortland. Next year, you hope you're talking about an offense with probably a different quarterback. You're talking about an offense that can build their game plans around where the opponent is weakest.
Yeah. All right, let's hit a super chat from My Biggest Fan. Says, how different is our season if we would have taken Micah Parsons over Patrick Surtain?
I think it's about the same.
Yeah, I think it's the same as well. And the reason for that is people are probably going to say, but wait, look at the impact he has an inside linebacker. The Broncos are their 8th inside linebacker. He's also having an impact on the outside. Micah Parsons is a heck of a player. But what's happening to the Broncos secondary, especially in the first half of the season when everyone was getting torched outside of Patrick Surtain? That would have been really bad. This injury to Bryce Callahan would be really bad right now. Although he's expected back now, he's missed some games. This secondary would be in big trouble. So I think it's honestly a push.
You wouldn't have had the luxury of benching Kyle Fuller when he was struggling.
Certainly
you would have to keep throwing him out there. And I think going to the bench is one of the things that did help him, even though he's probably kind of the weak link back there still when you have everybody healthy. So, yeah, that's why I think it would have been a push.
Yep, I think so too. And that shows just how good I think Patrick Surtain is, showing that the rookie of the year or defensive rookie of the year in Micah Parsons, Pat Surtain is just as valuable as him.
Well, I mean, what's really important? I mean, not that Parsons isn't important, but a lockdown cover like Pat Surtain is becoming is a premium. It's a premium player at a premium spot.
Yep. On defense, to me, it's the second most premium position. Yep. Pass rusher number 1 and that number 2.
Yep.
Next one from Steve is the worst. My boys, I just watched the Super Bowl 50 championship Blu-ray while I was packing to move to my new spot. Good times, LOL. That said, I do not understand how people can root for this team to lose. Saying it's the best thing for this team is one thing, but that ship has sailed. We want to show veteran elite quarterbacks that this team can win. Playoffs? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. Let's go. It starts with this game. This is a big time. Take care, friends.
It is a big time, and take care, and love that you're watching Super Bowl 50. You know what? When a team is struggling, just throw on a DVD or watch an old video of YouTube from past glories. You're going to feel better, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to start explaining what a Blu-ray is to people soon.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll make sure one way or another, download or Blu-ray or whatever, I'll be able to watch the Braves World Series this past year. Because when they're struggling, I'll always have that moment. You always have Super Bowl 50. Heck, just go on YouTube and you can find The Drive and The Drive 2 and Super Bowl 32. You can find games from 1977, the Orange Crush. Yeah. There are so many wonderful days out there to just go and watch and do that. But you know what? In the moment, until you're eliminated, you go for the playoffs. Embrace the playoff chase. Until they say you can't possibly go, you fight until the death.
I think we've turned people. I think most people are excited for this, and I'm so pumped. Next one from Mile High Buckeye. We need this one, boys. Hopefully we can come out strong and hold the lead. Wish I could be in Denver for this one. I've actually been in contact with a local sports bar owner here in Central Ohio, and I'm going to start a Columbus Broncos supporter group. More to come in a few days. Keep us updated on that. Love that. Sports betting will be legal in Ohio starting in 2022. If I learn anything this year, it would be to always bet the opposite of what Zach says for his pick of the week. Whoa. I was on a hot streak. I was like 4 of my last 5, and then, I've got a little cold, so you know what I'm doing, Mace? I'm watching the highlights of when I was picking the right picks of the week. It gives me that spirit that I'm going to be right back here. He says, hope y'all have a good weekend. Go Broncos and go DNVR.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Very lovely. And I love you, Mile High Buckeye. Excited for sports betting to be in Ohio for you.
I didn't even check on how my pick of the week from basketball came out.
Yeah, we're going to have to look
Or
into
the bowl
that.
game. No, it's a bowl game. I was going to do college basketball.
Right.
I did the Boca Bowl.
Yes, you did, which has
Is it
not
gonna,
happened yet.
Is it going to be covered by the Boca Breeze? As Morty Seinfeld said, it's the Pinko Kami rag.
Way over my head. I have no
Seinfeld
idea what you're
reference.
talking about.
Oh, the Condo Board newsletter, the Boca Breeze. Pinko Kami rag. If you're a Seinfeld fan, you got that.
Yeah, way over my
Yeah.
head, but I'm sure it was really good.
Yes, anyway.
Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Hello, guys. Happy Thursday. I can't tell if I'm more entertained by Spicy Zach on the Broncos pod or Spicy Andre on the digital tailgate. I have a question for Zach regarding Russell Wilson. Spicy Andre is pretty tough to beat. You mentioned being willing to trade just about anything for Russell Wilson. I want to test that theory with this fake offer for Russ. Broncos acquire Russell Wilson in return for the Broncos giving up every first-round pick while Wilson is on the team, excluding if they trade and acquire another team's first-round pick. Deal or no deal? Wow, you are really putting into the test here. And
So that's potentially 8 years if Russ is your quarterback.
it is.
8 years without a first-round pick.
Yeah, and that's a no for me, dog, except that's the initial thought. But then I think about, okay, well, what would I be willing to give up for Russ now? What would I be willing to give up for Aaron Rodgers now? And with Russ, you can't trade 8 first-round picks. So I haven't thought about this, but I think about it with Aaron Rodgers. And I think, boy, you can trade 3 years out. If Aaron Rodgers tells you, I guarantee I'll play 3 years, I'm absolutely trading 3 first-round picks for him. If he
That's
says,
fair.
I'm playing 2 years, I'm willing to trade 2 first-round picks.
Right.
So what that tells me is I'm willing to give up a first-round pick for as many years as that person, that quarterback, is going to play. So, yes, sign me up. I'm trading 8 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm willing to give up like 6 now. If you value Patrick Surtain as 2, yeah, I'm giving 3 first-round picks because that's a max you can give. Javonte Williams is 1. So what do we have there? We have 6 there. And then I'll throw in a couple of second-round picks to make it worth the 2 more first-round picks.
Kale, can we clip that?
Because we're getting a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's way valuable.
Oh, it's valuable, but then you're losing. I mean, I get like 3 or even maybe even 4 first-round picks, but okay, now would you trade those first-round picks plus PS2 and Javonte? Like you
yeah,
were
sure. Because
Whoa!
Mace, let's go back through the most recent draft picks that I can remember in the first round. That means you're missing out on Garrett Bowles. It means you're missing out on Paxton Lynch. It means you're missing out on Bradley Chubb. It means you're missing out on Pat Surtain, who's a very good player.
John Elway isn't doing the drafting anymore.
It means, well, I mean, I just got to go off what this is. Who else am I missing the past couple of years? First round picks for the Broncos.
Noah Fant.
You're missing out on Noah Fant. There we go. Who else are we missing out on?
Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, we're missing out on Jerry Jeudy. Who else are we missing out on?
Did you say Shane Ray?
Oh, we're missing out on Shane Ray. He's even in the league? No. The answer is no. Okay, that gets us to 7, I believe, first-round picks. Yeah, none of those guys have impacted the Broncos in a way of making the playoffs. None of those. Now, I do think that Patrick Surtain will. I do think that Jerry Jeudy is going to prove that he is a true number 1 receiver. But Mace, the Broncos got all those guys now. And also, on top of that, that's when the Broncos had good draft picks. The Broncos are going to have bad draft picks when they have Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be picking in the 20s. They're going to be picking 25, 30. So we should probably blend it with second-round picks that the Broncos have had, and most of those haven't worked out. Sure, you can throw Courtland Sutton in there. He's worked out. So it's just not that valuable at all. It's not as valuable as people think.
Your first pick in a lot of these drafts is going to be, well, ideally pick 64.
Yeah,
But,
it's true.
you know, some years you're going to lose in the divisional round, right? Pick 57, pick 58.
Sure, there we go. But you got...
And it happens year after year after year.
You got your quarterback, baby.
Yeah.
You got your quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback there. You are not too thrilled with me in this idea.
I just think even for as much... Look, I like Russell Wilson, okay? That's
seem like
clear. Oh, stop it. But there's a limit to what anybody's going to give up. And I think George Payton's limit is much, much lower than the Zach Stevens limit.
I think so too.
I think,
I don't think George
but
is
at the
trading
same
Pat
time,
Surtain and Javonte, but
there's
would.
a part of me that would actually like to see Zach Stevens as GM because I think the deals would just be absolutely insane.
You know what? They'd have a quarterback here. I can guarantee that.
Would they be blocking for said quarterback?
Or you know what? They'd probably have Mac Jones here right now, and they wouldn't have had to trade a single thing for him.
Now there you have a point. Mac Jones with Pat Shurmur, how would that have worked?
Mac Jones would be carrying Pat Shurmur. It'd be great. Pat Shurmur would like the media a little more because we wouldn't be picking at his every moves, and he wouldn't be giving us these answers as we talked about at the beginning of the pod.
He seems to be more condescending after wins, though.
That is
I've noticed
wild.
after losses and things aren't going well, I think he seems to be more introspective. I feel like when they win, he gets a little more condescending and overconfident.
That just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. I love these questions, but the good news is, Mace, is they don't even have to trade 8 first-round picks because they can't. So I love my offer that we talked about last week. 3 first-round picks, Patrick Surtain, Javonte Williams. Give me Russell Wilson for that. We got another super chat coming in from our guy, Edward. Thank you so much, Edward. We love you. He says, DNVR is my new favorite pod. You guys make my boring week so much better. Did you guys talk Broncos throughout the offseason? I want Wilson personally. I want Wilson too. Mace kind of wants Wilson. Just kidding. Mace wants Russell Wilson. We do. This is a pod that pretty much goes 365 days a year. No, we do every single week.
5 days a week.
We also have an
all year
additional draft pod. We have an additional fantasy show, and that's only scratching the surface, Edward. If you guys are tuning in, finding us from YouTube, we do this exact same thing for Denver Nuggets. We do this exact same thing for Colorado Avalanche. We do this exact same thing for Colorado Rockies. The only thing is, it's not us talking about it. It's experts talking about it. Mace, I call ourselves experts in the Broncos, and that's why we just focus on Broncos. We have a whole team that focuses on Nuggets, Rockies, Avs, Buffs, the CSU Rams, who are doing incredible things right now. You got to check us out over at thednvr.com. But yes, Edward, when the season ends, our season's just picking up.
Do you think I'm a baseball expert?
Yeah, you personally Braves expert.
Okay, I'm popping on the Rockies podcast next week.
There we go. I love it. I love. See, Rockies content in the middle of December.
In the middle of a lockout. Yeah. There's nothing going on in baseball. Yes,
yep.
Still 5 Rockies pods a week,
and of course,
from the DNVR.
And of course, we're not just live on YouTube. By the way, hit us with a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. Check us out over at YouTube for the live pods. But also, we're dropping these on podcast versions. So if you can't tune in live, find us anywhere you find podcasts. Just search for Broncos, and we'll be the first podcast that pops up.
Yep, exactly. And we got a couple more comments here. This one from Zen Bronco.
My boys!
There you go. So after this season, how much of a realistic chance do you actually think we have of getting Wilson or Rodgers? It'd be very nice, but I am 75% sure we'll probably be disappointed in that aspect. On a bright side, I'll be at the game on Sunday. I already got my tickets to the tailgate. I met RK last time, hope to meet the rest of y'all. You will know it's me because I plan on painting my head for this game.
Hey.
Also, do you have any good restaurant recommendations? DNVR Bar, of course. I plan on going to the bar Saturday night, but need some other ideas to take my girlfriend. Thanks for the pod. It's great as always. Go Broncos. Okay, beyond the DNVR Bar. Restaurant recommendations, especially here in the center part of the city.
Yeah, you got to go to My Brother's Bar. It's downtown, and it's called My Brother's Bar. Fantastic burgers.
Yeah, if you want something that you may think, oh, crazy, Main Shack over not too far from Lowhigh, amazing lobster rolls. You may think
like
lobster in Colorado. Trust me, this is as good as I found up in New England.
Wow.
So
impressive.
that's a bold statement.
Very impressive.
And they actually have a stand in the on the club levels at Broncos games too.
Oh, wow.
So you can literally get a lobster roll at a Bronco game.
Wow, that is
fancy. Yeah, free pub for Main Shack, but if I don't like the pregame meal and the Broncos press box, that's usually where I dive down to eat.
I love it.
Lobster roll.
Mace, we got to get out of here, but I want to get to our final question, so let's hit it quick. Comes in from the chat. He says, my boys, if Bridgewater does want $25 million per year and we don't get Russ or Rodgers, what would you do for the 2020 season at quarterback?
First of all, I don't think Bridgewater's going to get $25 million in the end.
Okay.
I think if wherever he goes, here or elsewhere, it will settle around, say, 18 to 20.
Yeah. Maybe that 15 range, yeah.
Right. And that's where, if you could do it for 1 year and you draft a quarterback, that becomes palatable. Yep. But if it's still in the 20, if it ends up going 22, 23, 24, I think then you say, we really are just looking for a guy to get us through. You are talking about if it's a veteran, an Andy Dalton, a Tyrod Taylor, I know these aren't sexy options. I would be intrigued by trading for Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
And then it would be drafting a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I laid out my situation last week. What I'm doing is trading for Tua after the Dolphins acquired Deshaun Watson. You could also do this with a Gardner Minshew type or a Jalen Hurts type. And then I'm trading some of the draft capital I have this year for 2023 draft capital, giving Tua a year to play. If he turns out to be the guy, fantastic. If not, you have all that ammo to draft a guy in 2023. If that's not possible, then what I'm doing is I'm going what the Patriots did with Mac Jones. I'm drafting a rookie. He's my starter from day one. See if he's the guy. If he doesn't show any hope, then I have a high draft pick in 2023, picking a quarterback. Then if he shows hope, he's the guy, then that's the direction we are going as a team. Well, what I think the Broncos will do is I think the Broncos will keep Bridgewater for $15, $20 million a year and draft a guy.
Yeah. I could be sold on the Tua option, but I really think it's either going to be Rodgers or Wilson, or if they can't get either, it's going to be maybe Bridgewater or another Bridge. And then I don't think just drafting a guy, I think trading up to get the first quarterback off the board.
Love it. Edward with one more super chats. He says, "You are crazy. I'm not giving up Patrick Surtain and Javonte Williams. LOL." Edward, you are right there with the rest of the comment section, and I'm left shaking my head. I don't even know what.
I'm kind of content to let you take the bullets here. This is
I don't understand what is going on here, guys. Do you want a quarterback or not? The Broncos haven't had a quarterback. They've had great cornerbacks. They had to keep leaving Chris Harris, and they didn't have a quarterback, and it didn't matter. I mean, what are we doing here, guys? Broncos haven't had a quarterback, and it hasn't meant anything. You got to have the quarterback. Guys, open your eyes.
Ooh, we got an open your eyes.
Yes, I mean, it gets me to that point.
I think there's a realistic limit to what's going to be traded. That's all.
Yes.
I don't think.
But I would
Let's put it this
absolutely
way. I don't think it's
guys.
going to take that kind of deal to get it done.
Even better. I mean, I'm not dangling those guys out and saying just have them. I'm dangling those guys out and saying if this is what it's going to take to beat the New York Giants, giving up 2 top 10 picks, I am willing to do it.
Yeah.
And Mace, something I'm willing to do is get you guys to the tailgate. I want you guys at the tailgate this week. I want you guys to take the party bus. Mace and I will be there. We would love to say hi to you. And of course, before we get out of here, got to tell you about our friends over at Green Mountain Dental. They may even be at the tailgate this weekend because they are diehard Colorado sports fans. And if you go check them out over at Green Mountain Dental, you'll be able to talk Colorado sports. You will get the best treatment of your teeth that's out there because they are the best damn family-owned dentists in the metro area. And on top of that, if you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam, they will hook you up with a free Sonicare toothbrush. That's right. Go to Green Mountain Dental, schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam. You're already going to do that at any dentist. Might as well do it here where they will hook you up with a free Sonicare toothbrush. So check them out over at Green Mountain Dental. Mace, that'll do it for us today. Really enjoyed this show today. Man, we got so much football to watch. I'm so pumped for tonight, so pumped for Saturday football, and of course, so pumped for Sunday football. We will be back with you on YouTube Live right after the game, so make sure to hit us with a thumbs up here. Subscribe to our channel so you know when we're going live, and we will see you after the Broncos beat the doors off the Bengals and continue to stay alive in the AFC playoff picture. But for Andrew Mason, I'm Zach Stevens. That'll do it for us. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you on Sunday.